Hello, listeners. Thank you for joining me on 21st Century Native Leaders. My name is Peter Deswood III. I hope you enjoy this podcast episode. Please comment and share this so other people can hear the experiences of my guest today. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello, listeners. Thank you for joining us today on 21st Century Native Leaders. My name is Peter Deswood III, and I'm here with Shy LeBeau. Shy is a boxer which attended Haskell Indian Nations University. Thanks for joining me today, Shy.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Tell us about yourself, your tribal affiliation, and where you come from.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised here in Lawrence, Kansas. I am enrolled in the Navajo Nation. That's my mom's side. I unfortunately didn't have my father, but I do know that from his side, I am half Lakota. So, but I'm 27 years old. I just been a little hometown girl here in Lawrence. I have a 11-year-old son and a fiance, and aside from school, I do work full-time as a nurse, and then go to school full-time at the same time as trying to find time to box too, and then making time for my family. But it's actually really neat because my fiance and our son, we all do the boxing together. My fiance and I are the only two that are competitive. My son's not really that competitive, but he does like to get in there and work out and do some sparring and stuff. But just a little hometown girl, so that's why I was real surprised when everything started kind of taking off for me as far as my boxing career, and then the documentary that I recently did, and then even this that I'm doing right now. You know, I never expected any of this, none of it. I just thought being a mom, doing what I love doing, boxing part-time or full-time, making time for work, school, and then my son too, I just kind of thought it was, normal. To me, it didn't seem like a real big deal until people really started telling me, like, not a lot of people as mothers in general, do that or make time for that many different things and then able to balance it and be successful in everything that, that they do. But I was just real surprised at it. To me, it was just something that I loved doing. I did it as just a sport, a way to stay, active and fit. And then the first time I got in that ring for a competition, that's when the boxing bug bit me. And ever since then, I've just been wanting to be in that ring. Setbacks do happen, though, like being able to have, because in the amateur boxing, you don't get paid for anything that you do. And, unless you make, or you fund your own entry fees or traveling fees or, anything like that, lodging, food, and all that, that comes all from, your own pocket. So it is kind of frustrating when I can't go to certain tournaments to compete like I want to, just because of the fact that I don't have the funding there. But even though that does, kind of bring me down, my main and first goal, always first, is my son and my family, to make sure that I have funds to provide, food, home, everything that my son needs, and then going to school before doing anything I need to do with boxing. That's the one thing that I've always really put first, was my son, my family, but then my schooling. A lot of people are like, oh, well, you should just quit doing amateur, go pro, that's where all the money's at. And I'm sure that's where it is. That's when I read a lot of, women's boxing stuff. It is, but for me, even now, I don't do it, for the money or the attention. I do it. I originally did it and still do it just because the fitness I get from it, and then the emotional and mental and physical mindset that I get from doing it as well. I can use that mindset outside of the ring, actually a lot more than I use when I'm in the ring. But that's always been my first priority, is my son, and then finishing school, because that's the main thing I want to do. Is I want to graduate from Haskell Indian Nations University and then go to KU, Kansas University, to be able to finish up with a bachelor's and hopefully even a master's in athletic training, and then being a strength and conditioning coach. So I got 2 different degrees I'm going for, so it's going to take me a little while, but that's what my main focus is right now. And then when I do, go and do my boxing tournaments and stuff, that's only when I make sure that my first priorities are taken care of and are okay, to the point that I can take that time off. But that's also why I don't get to, be in as many tournaments or fights as I'd like to be, because I'm always making sure that I keep up with my schooling, and then with my son and his schooling as well, and then my job too.
Right, that sounds like a lot to balance. Let me take a step back really quick. Do you know your clan?
Yeah, I am the Navajo Nation. I'm from the Fonogoni clan.
Mm-hmm. And where's your mom from? What area?
My mom is from, she's actually from the Pinon, Arizona reservation. We have all of our families back there in Pinon and Chinle and Mini Farms. But that's originally where she was from. Yeah, it's actually really neat too. Like when you meet another, like when I've been at high school or even just here in Kansas, and I meet another Navajo, and I'm like, well, where are you from? And they're like, well, you're not gonna know it. So, and I'm like, well, just try me. And then they say Chinle or Pinon. I'm like, hey, I know that. And then they're just surprised as I am. Like, yeah, because it's a little itty bitty small reservation. But it's just funny how a lot of people are like, oh, you want to know it. You want to know it. I'm like, just try me. And then it's really neat to find out that, you know, the ones that I do, I'm like, hey, I know they're from there. And then we end up finding out that through the trial we're related. And I'm just like, that's cool.
That's awesome. So what are the highlights of your boxing career so far?
The biggest one I would have to say for me was when in 2015, I went and fought in the United States Intercollegiate Boxing Championships out in Michigan. And that was a big thing for me, not only because that was the first time I had ever been away from my whole family or even my son. And it was about a week I was gone. And I mean, that for me was the biggest obstacle. I know, like, a boxing tournament and all that, everybody else would be like, oh, no, the boxing was the biggest, you know, wall you had to get through. And it's like, no, for me, it's actually being away from my son. Since I've had him, he's always my right-hand man. He's just always right next to me. So actually going on this trip was the biggest hurdle for me, was to be away from him. But I was talking to him every day that I was gone. But when I was out there, I wasn't in the same mindset as I normally am when I'm getting ready for a tournament, mainly just because that's the real thing that was tugging at my heart was, oh my gosh, I'm so ready. But when I went out there and I fought, I looked at it as a normal tournament. I didn't think anything else of it other than that it was a college, like an intercollegiate boxing tournament. So I just thought it was just going to be, you know, another fight tournament, just a different name. Well, when I went out there and I fought the first night and I had advanced into the championships from winning that fight, and I fought the championship fight, I got the belt and they announced me as the winner. And it wasn't until after I had gotten back here to Kansas that I had found out from the boxing coach that I went with out there. He was actually with the KU boxers, Hassel and KU boxers. We work together since we're all in the same town, and that's the only other gym closest to us that we can actually have fighters that we can work with and spar with. But also because a lot of the KU fighters, they're brand new to the sport, so when they come into our gym, we're able to slowly work with them and help them and do some sparring and stuff. But the KU coach was the one that cornered me out there in Michigan because my coach just couldn't make it. And it wasn't until I got back that he had told me that I was the first male or female college boxing student full-time that had ever won a championship title for the state of Kansas in history. And when I heard that, I was like, wow, you know, I didn't think it was that, you know, like, I didn't think I was doing anything as far as it being a really big deal like that. And then when I looked into it and I was like, oh, wow, you know, like, to actually make history, you know, and something that you didn't intend to go through with 100%, like, oh, I'm going to be the best, and I'm going to, you know, because everybody always asks me that, when are you going pro? You know, when are you going to fight like the best fighters out there? And it's like, you know, that's a good thought, you know, and it's a good option to always keep there, but first and foremost is going to be my schooling and then my family. But along with my schooling, I can't really take off time that I need to if I wanted to go pro or if I wanted to be able to fight at tournaments that you have to, like, place in order to be ranked nationally in. So I'm like, yeah, you know, that's a good idea, but I didn't do it for those reasons. I didn't get into boxing for the money, the fame, you know, and all the attention and stuff like that. I just did it as just a fitness thing. It's just really neat to me that I went into this tournament not knowing this. And then the other thing that I didn't know is that although I fought for the championship was the reigning undefeated champion from the year before. Had I known that before I got in the ring, I probably would have been a little bit more like, oh, man. But going in the ring and doing that and then coming home and finding out that, you know, you actually made history for your state, and not just, you know, making history, but being the first female to be able to do it. And then on top of that, like a Native American female, that really made me feel good. You know, I was just like, wow, you know, they don't expect women in general to, you know, go farther than the men do, especially in a predominantly male-dominated sport like this. So I was the only female from the high school boxing team that went out of like 5 or 6 of us, I think. And then in KU, they had female boxers, but they were all, really new to it. But me and one other guy from the high school boxing team, we both won the championship out there. But I was the first one from both schools in the state of Kansas to win the title and to get the belt. So I was really surprised at that. I just thought of it like, just a normal tournament or fight. And even when I do go into any other tournament or fight, I just go into it with the mindset of, you're going to get in there, and like my coach says, the hard part's over. You just go in there and have fun now. All the killing yourself, working out, the eating right, the working, just everything that you put so hard towards it, you don't even worry about none of that no more. This is the easy part. You're in there to have fun now. Go do it. The hard part's over. That's what I always keep in my mind, and that's what he always remembers to tell me before I get in the ring. And that's what makes me feel a lot better, because, a lot of people go in that ring like, oh my gosh, with like a head just full of what could happen, the bad, a lot of times, it's doubt. But when you go in there with the mindset of knowing that, the hard part's all over. This is just for you to have fun, because in the gym we'll be working out for 2 to 3 hours straight nonstop.
Right.
And in this fight, it's really the most intense 6 minutes of your life. As bad as it seems, like that 6 minutes is a long time, but when you tell yourself, all right, this is all I got to do right now, I don't have to sit here and kill myself for hours on end, it gives you a lot better, like, calm feeling. Like, okay, it's not that bad.
Right. So I have a question for you, real quick. How do you overcome self-doubt?
For me, it's more of, I tell myself, every fighter, it doesn't matter who you are, every fighter will doubt themselves at some point in their career. When I did it, I want to say it was my very first tournament I did, which was my very second fight, and it was ringside back in 2012. And I, to the fullest, was just doubting myself. Like, when I went and weighed in, the girls that were weighing in my category, I was like, oh my gosh, these girls are buff. They're big, and I'm just little toothpick, tiny me, and I was like, oh my gosh. But then I also had to remind myself, even though these girls are bigger and you're smaller, you have the advantage. You could be quick on your feet. You could have faster hand movement. When you're a heavier fighter or bulk on a lot of muscle, then you're going to be slower. But for me, the doubt, or not being able to have that doubt, was telling myself, you didn't do all this hard work for anything. You didn't kill yourself for nothing. You didn't, starve yourself darn near to get here. And you just have to believe in yourself. But that's what I really like about the sport, is the mentality of it. Even though you do doubt, there's a lot more positive things to outweigh that doubt. And for me, it was more so just telling myself, you can do it. Even if you don't win, it's not the end of the world. Every fighter in their life has fought, whether it's pro or amateur, they've lost, and it's really, to me, when I see other fighters, even people that I have fought and they end up coming out as a loser, I'll still go up to them and tell them, you did a great job. Don't stop here. This isn't the end of it. Keep going. Because most people, what me and, other boxers do, most other people will avoid their whole lives. They don't want to get into a ring. They don't want to fight. But as long as you know that even after you lose, or, the outcome isn't what you wanted, you can keep going. You can keep on going. Because to me, what defines a fighter isn't their wins, it's their losses. Because they can take all these losses, but still get back in that ring and fight again, fight another fight, and just keep going. That's what really stands out to me. So when people are like, oh, well, this person is like their record's bad, they're, like a lots of losses, it's like, hey, those losses, they speak a lot about that fighter, That fighter could have taken those couple losses and walked away and just been like, I'm done. But the fact that they keep jumping in that ring and keep moving and keep going and don't let those losses define them in a negative way, that's what I really look at. And that's what I explain to either my opponents or even when I lose. That's one thing that really surprises my opponents and even some of the other officials or coaches that I've seen is when I go up after the fight to go talk to them, people are expecting, to be like, oh, well, I was robbed, or whatever. But me, I'll go up to them, I'll congratulate them and tell them thank you. I have a lot of respect. I always go in the ring respecting my opponent, even before the fight. I will never talk down on my opponent, and I'll never, build myself up to be because that's the number one thing that will get you in trouble in the fight game, is don't believe your own hype. If you really think you're going to go in there and knock them out, and you don't, then that really tears you down as far as like your ego, you know. So I just go in there with the mindset of, as long as I'm still happy, humble, and healthy after this fight, hey, I've come out the winner myself then. You know, just because I didn't walk away, yeah, exactly, because I didn't walk away with a trophy or a belt, that doesn't mean that I wasn't a good fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I wish. No, go ahead.
How did you get started boxing?
I did it as originally just a workout. I was actually running the campus at Haskell, and I ran through it instead of around it one day. Because my cousin had told me before, hey, they have a boxing club at Haskell, you should try and go over there, because her and her friend were going up there. So I decided one day when I was running, I'll just go ahead and run through the campus, cut through it, and get to the boxing gym and just kind of see what it's about. And when I went in there, I'm not going to lie, I was intimidated. You know, you see all these big, you know, muscular guys in there hitting that bag, and you can just hear the sounds of the bags. I was like, oh my gosh. And there was only like, I think at the time there was only 3 girls in the gym, and even the 3 girls was like, oh my gosh, these girls are really, really good. And so then I'm just kind of like peeking in the door looking, and then it scared me because the coach, Eric Riley, must have been coming in at the time that I was kind of like peeking in the door, and he yelled really loud, what you doing? And it scared me. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So then he started asking me, you know, have you ever tried this? Do you want to try it? And I was talking to him for a little while. I was like, yeah, you know, I'd like to try it. And he was like, well, jump in. So I jumped in there, and I was doing the workouts and everything. And then when it came to me actually getting in the ring for my first kind of like sparring rounds, I was blown away because, you know, just like everybody else in the world, they're like, oh, well, I've gotten in fights before, and, you know, I know how to throw a punch. No. Being in that ring, fighting against an actual boxer, a skilled person, I just felt like a rag doll being thrown around. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't hit this person at all. I'm throwing with everything I've got, and I'm missing. And it was a good experience for me because I was like, oh, you know, this boxing isn't going to be anything compared to my runs, because I used to run for 2 hours a day, almost 6 miles, you know, every day. And that's the only workout I did was just running. Oh, when I went into this first workout at the gym, oh my goodness, I didn't think that it was true when everybody was like, you're going to walk out of here drenched in sweat from head to toe, and you're going to be so sore. And I was like, no, whatever. I run all the time. It's not going to be a big deal. After I got done with that first boxing workout, I was walking back, I was doing like a slow walk around the campus, and I stepped off the curb, and my legs were just so sore and felt like spaghetti that I just fell. And I was like, I can't get up. My cousin was like, I told you you were going to be sore. And I was like, I can't get up. It was a good workout, though, but ever since I did that workout and kept going back and kept, I know it's weird to stay here, but I love that feeling of being sore, because you'd rather be sore than be sorry that you didn't do the workout. And yeah, so I really like that feeling. I just kept going back, and then I think it was about maybe after the first 5 months that I'd actually been consistently going to the gym. That's when the coaches asked me, how do you feel about competing? And I was like, well, what do you mean? And then they explained it to me, and I was like, well, yeah, I'll try it. Let's do it. So then my first fight I traveled out to Topeka, Kansas, and I went out there, and I was worried because the girl that I ended up fighting, she was already a known boxer out in Kansas City, and she was pretty good. So I was like, oh great, so I'm gonna be like her punching bag in the ring. But it's completely different. And I tell anybody that gets into the sport of boxing, when it comes to an actual fight, I know it sounds weird, but it is completely different from just sparring, you know, in your gym. When I was in that fight, I felt like a different fighter, not in a bad sense, but in the sense that I was surprised at how everything just kind of came natural to me while I was in that ring. But when I'm sparring, it's different. I don't know, it's weird. Like, some fighters are like that. Their sparring rounds will be, you know, frustrating and, you know, kind of trying to them. But then as soon as they get into a fight, like a real competitive fight, their fight is completely different in a good way. And somehow, I don't know how, but that's what happens with me. Like, when I'm sparring in the ring, my coach is, the main thing he's always yelling at me is, move your head, don't get in the corner. But when I'm in a regular fight, I barely hear him yelling at me that much, because it comes natural. Just move, throw and move, you know, don't get hit. But, I mean, it was surprising to me that's, you know, the outcome you can have from sparring to an actual competition fight.
Wow. So, where do you get your strength from?
Me, a lot of my strength, it comes from a lot of, mainly my heart. It comes from a lot of the things that I've been through, not just negative, but also positive. And like before I go into these fights, even before I get to where the ring is or anything, I'll say a prayer, to myself, and it's mostly just, to help. Like I've had a couple family members that have passed that I was really, really, really close to. So I will talk to them, and I'll tell them, please keep me safe, just keep me happy, and keep me humble. I don't have to win this fight, just as long as I can walk out of there with my head up, hey, that's the best thing for me. But I use a lot of the things that I've been through to help give me that drive and that force. Like the negative things that I think about, I'm like, all right, you don't want to go back to that. You don't want to be, this negative person at the bottom. You want to build yourself up, whether it's just in your mind or even if it's, other people can see it. Just keep building yourself up. But I get a lot of my strength from, the things that I've been through in life, but also before my fights and stuff, I'll look at my son and talk with my son and my fiance and then my family that I have. Because the family that I do have out here, it's only my mom and my sisters. I don't have, and then like a couple of my cousins. But other than that, I don't have like family here. So, when they all do come out to my fights, I give them all hugs and tell them thank you for coming before I actually get in the ring. And when I look over and when I'm standing in my corner and I see my family sitting there, I'm like, it's not a lot, but it's all I got, and they're here to support me in everything that I do. So everything that I've been through in my life, I just kind of think about that. And when I do start getting upset about the negative things, I just keep thinking, well, the Creator put you through that obstacle for a reason. Although it was a bad experience, you were able to overcome that. That's the biggest thing for me, is not letting my setbacks define me as a person, a mother, or a fighter. If I have this setback, okay, that's not the wall that I'm going to build there, though. It may be a setback, but I can always come back from that setback. And my strength comes a lot from my family, and then everything that I've been through. Because there have been times where I've been in that ring in the second round when we're getting ready to go into the third round. I'm like, I'm dead tired. I don't think I can do it. And then I just sit there and I'm like, all right, you got to get your head straight. You can do this. And I mean, there's been times where I've just been deadbeat tired, but just looking at my family and just telling myself, keep going. I've been able to, pull out, the last 2 minutes just going hardcore out of nowhere. But when I think about it, it has a lot to do with my family and a lot to do with the things that I've been through. The strength of,
awesome.
Not letting my son see that just because of one drawback, it's, don't try again, just give up, move on to something different. A lot of the things I do and I keep doing, even if I've failed once before, I'll keep going until I, can come out on top or at least come out where I want to be. Because I don't want my son to have that mindset of, this thing is too hard, so move on to something different and forget about that. Anything that you take on in life, if you really want it, you're going to keep going. Even if you do fail, or get put back, keep going. That's one thing I always, and he knows that. That's why I've been happy, to take him. He's been to all my fights. He's watched me, even when I haven't won, he's the first one to come up to me and goes, Mom, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, don't be sorry. It's all right. I'm fine. I'm not hurt. It's just another, it's just a loss. It's not going to hurt anybody. I'm fine. And for him, because he sees a lot of the other fighters just get really mad, get mad, start blaming everybody. And I don't want him to have that mentality, not just as a boxer, but in life in general. So that's why I always teach him, no matter what it is you do, just stay humble. Just be humble, because that's the best thing you could be in life. Even when people are being negative to you, it makes them even more upset to realize that you're just a humble person, and you're not going to let it get to you. But you won't let these drawbacks define you in a negative way.
That's awesome. That's a great way to view it. So how does it feel to be viewed as a Native leader?
Honestly, it's unreal a lot because, like I said, I didn't expect any of this. Doing what I just love doing, boxing. I didn't expect any of this. So to actually be called that and actually have people ask me that, it makes me feel really good and amazing. I mean, I can't even really describe it because, I'm just this little hometown girl that never really done, anything to really, except, with my boxing, but I didn't even think boxing was going to take off like it did. I just did it as something that I love doing. Even now when people are like, you need to go, do stuff at a, pro or go do other things. I'm just like, no, I'm not taking it to that level, but it really makes me feel good because I didn't go out looking for this. I think that's the main thing that really makes me feel like, wow, is I didn't go out looking for, to be the best there ever was, or to be, like a role model, or, to change anything. I just thought it was something that, some people like doing. But then when I won that championship and then I reached out to everybody for my GoFundMe campaign to go back to the USIBA to defend my title, I was overwhelmed, to say the least, like with all the love and support that I got, not just from people in Kansas, not just from people in Kansas, but from Native Americans all over the world, and not just Native Americans. I mean, a broad range of people. I was shocked and overwhelmed that, somebody is not in a bad way, but as irrelevant as me could touch so many people. And that's the thing that got me, is it wasn't just females, and it wasn't just, a certain age category. Like, I had little kids coming up to me, or, leaving, nice things on social media, or even older people, elderly people. And I was just blown away. I was like, I didn't think that anything that I've been doing was going to get me to where I am now. But I am just so thankful and so blessed to be able to carry that title and to be able to be somebody, a role model, not just for my son. I mean, that's the main thing I did, it was to be a good role model for my son. But to know that I'm a role model to a lot of other people's kids and then people themselves, I mean, it really makes me feel good and it touches me. And, I just want to do anything I can to keep everybody else, not just my family, but everybody I've touched, to just keep building them up, keep, letting them know, just keep going in life. Don't stop, especially being Native American. As dumb as it sounds, people have actually, and throughout my life, I've heard people say, oh my gosh, you're Native American? Like, you guys really still exist? And I'm like, why do people think that, we're extinct, or, we're not around no more?
Right.
So for me to be able to be breaking through barriers as a Native American woman, that is just, it's phenomenal to me, because I see other women doing this, and I see other women going, far. I never would have thought I would have been one of those women, but it just makes me feel so good and so honored to be able to have people look up to me, because I never expected that, ever. So when I hear people say things like that to me, or, have people come up to me and they're like, can I get a picture with you? Or, are you Shy LeBeau? And I'm just like, yeah, come talk to me. I get with like a lot of natives, if I'm not talking to anybody or smiling, I guess I do have like a stern kind of look to me that people are like, hey, you look like you're upset. And I'm like, no, I'm not, I swear. But it's a really good feeling. And I mean, it's amazing. I can't even explain it, how it's just, it makes me feel really good as a person to know that just being this good person and being a humble person just every day and anything that I do, that it really makes people look up to you. I didn't know that, and I didn't think anything like this was going to happen, when it comes to this.
That's so amazing. Like, you got into it, you were just running through campus, you checked it out, and the next thing you know, you're fighting, and it just felt like you're just climbing a ladder. That's pretty powerful. So how important is your culture?
To me, it's really everything, because everything that I do in life, I get it from either the traditions or, ceremonies that we do. I carry that with me a lot, and with my son, because as sad as it is to see, even though I do attend Haskell University, there's a lot of Native Americans that come from reservations and come from, families that speak their language, do their traditions and their ceremonies, but yet these kids don't do it. They don't speak their language. I didn't have that opportunity. My mom, when we all lived here in Kansas, English is our only language, because she didn't want us going to school, like mixing the Navajo language with the English language, or confuse us in any way as far as like our language and our speech. So me and my sisters and brother, we didn't get to grow up knowing our language. And even, now, and then a couple of years ago, I've really been talking with my mom, working with her as far as learning the language, because that's one thing to me that is beautiful about any tribe, or, it's the language itself, because that right there goes and shows you from, God, many generations back, how far this language has come, and now it's starting to go away. And I don't like seeing that. I love going to school every day and seeing, some of these students wearing, their moccasins from either their families made them or just traditional outfits. It's beautiful to me when I see that. I'm just like, gosh, I'm so lucky to be a part of something so beautiful, the Native American way. And a lot of people don't realize that we do get our strength and our motivation from our culture. A lot of people don't put two and two together. But being raised with your culture and your traditions as a child, and then coming up with that and raising your own child with those traditions and that culture, it's my goodness, beautiful. I mean, as long as, because like I said, I don't speak the Navajo language. I don't really understand a whole lot of it, but just to be able to know some of the traditions that we still carry on, even though we're not from the res or not, everyday traditional natives, we still carry those in our hearts and our minds. And for people, especially a lot of Native Americans, they don't realize that you have the opportunity being on your reservation to learn all these things, to know, everything you can about your tribe and where you guys originated from, and that's why I'm really happy I go to Hackle Indian Nations, because honestly, before I went there, I didn't know anything as far as how bad the genocide and colonization and everything like that was against the Native Americans until I went to Haskell. And then that even encouraged me to look more into the Navajo Nation and where we originated from. It blew my mind to find out that the Navajos were originally from Canada. I was just like, I thought we were from Arizona this whole time. I didn't know that we were from a different place. I mean, and it really, it opened my eyes to see wow, I have a beautiful culture, the way that we live our lives, the things that we look to and turn to before we will turn to, this pharmaceutical medications and stuff like that, and to actually see, as long as you believe in your culture and believe in, the traditions that they bring and the goodness that it brings to you, it's the best thing to have, especially if, you can't go out and, cause there's no medicine that's going to help you be, happy or know how to pick yourself up. Those are things that you have to look at it yourself. My ancestors have overcome so much, and for me to either let it die away or to not carry it on, that's like an insult to them, because they fought for so many different things, and we're here as their newer generation still fighting for a lot of things Native Americans don't get to do.
Right, that's true. So whenever you take away the boxing, the schooling, how do you want to be remembered?
Honestly, I just want to be remembered as, just being a positive, humble role model for, anybody, not just Native American women or younger kids, just in general, for people to just be like, oh, that's, because you hear of fighters that are either they got good skill, but them as a person, and they're just, not the best. It's kind of, I've seen that a lot. Or, they'll have a really good personality, but, lack a lot of things in other different places. And I'm no better. I still have a lot of, faults that, sometimes outweigh my positives. But, I'm not a perfect person. But just to be able to be remembered as, just someone who tried, especially a Native American woman at that, that didn't let the stereotypical Native American be her, because a lot of people think that when, the one thing that really gets me is when people ask me about my son, and I'm like, yeah, he's 11, and they're like, well, how old are you? And I'm like, 27, and then I can see them doing the math in their head, and I'm like, yeah, I was a young mother. I had my child at the age of 16, but when I was pregnant, I had that, and then even after I had him, I had the mindset and the option of, do the right thing by this child, raise them right, be a mom, even though it did, I was only 16 years old, I still made that choice of going the right route. I could have been like a lot of other, Native Americans you see on the res, mostly, they have kids, and then the grandparents are raising these kids. The grandparents are raising their grandchildren because, they're having kids at such a young age. I didn't want to do that, and I didn't want that to be what defined me as far as a mom. So at the young age of 16, I decided right when I found out I was pregnant, you're going to do right by this child. You're going to raise this child to be the best, that they could be. Because I didn't, like a lot of other people, I didn't have a good childhood. I didn't have a father figure for a long time, even now, and she's my rock, even now, that's the main only person that I can go to no matter what is bothering me. Even if it's not boxing, if it's school, if it's just in general, I just getting overwhelmed and frustrated with, bills, work, training, still just, she's this person I can go talk to, and she always knows just what to tell me to be able to get me, to calm down and to get my head straight. But being able to overcome the stereotypical of, okay, well, you were a young mother, you're Native American, you probably came from the res, you're probably not going to do anything with yourself. That's the stereotype that I'm trying to knock out in a way, so to speak. I don't want to be the stereotypical Native, especially being a woman, and having a child at a young age. I want people to know, I'm not trying to tell kids go have children at a young age, but if you do get in that, fall into that category like I did, don't let that, in a way, like, embarrass you or define you to think that, okay, well, great, now my life is over. Because it's not. I mean, it just started. That's the way I looked at it, is having my son, my life is just started. It's not over. Everything's not, going to be bad, just because you have a kid. You can always keep building. Don't let that and what other people say and think of you. That's the main thing, especially being Native American. They expect you to be out here drinking and getting drunk, or just the stereotypical Native American is what a lot of people think, when they hear Native or they hear or see, you're like, oh yeah, I'm Native American. That's a lot of times one of the things that pop in their head. And I've heard it, a lot, oh, well, don't natives just drink or, just, and it's like, no, a lot of us we're more than that, so it makes me feel real good too to even go to high school and see all these faces from different tribes all over the world coming here to better themselves, and as a mom, that makes me feel really good to know that I don't just see these kids, I am one of them. Even though, I have a child and a family, I'm still one of these Native American kids, this generation that wants to do something, wants to change it, and wants to make our tribe, to be able to represent our tribe in a very positive way. And, one thing that I've learned at high school that's always stuck with me is the saying, what was it? I was going to say, I just have to remember in my head. But it's, the most dangerous Native is an educated Native American. Yep. And it's really true. They expect a lot of us to come from reservations and not know, education. But when you do come across an educated Native, to me, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to me because I'm just like, look at you guys. Look, you guys had the choice to either stay back on that res, and not do nothing with your life. But each and every single one of you decided, I don't want this. I want better for myself. Or I want to be better so I can go back to my reservation and make it better. And I've seen that happen. I'm honored to know a lot of these Native American students that I've watched graduate and go to class with and see them go back home and they're, opening up, community buildings for their tribe or for the younger generations or even just getting involved with the younger generations because that's where it's going to start from. Is with the younger ones right now, building them up and letting them know, there's a bigger world outside of your reservation. You just have to take that big leap of faith and go for it. A lot of these students that I've come across at high school, I'll sit there and talk with them, especially, some of the girls, because they're like, I'm just never been away from my family. This is the first time. So I'm like, well, don't let that. I know you're sad and I know you miss your family, but just think, once you get done with this, with your degree, you can just go, you can go back home, you can go wherever you want. And know that you're going to make a difference. Know that you've made a difference, not just for your people, but for you as a person, because it does take a lot. I mean, as easy as it sounds to go and apply at a university, it takes more than that. I mean, you have to be able to know and want that. And then, like for me, when I went and applied at high school, I was worried because I'd been out of school for 7 years after I had graduated. And so when I went back and enrolled, I was scared because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to know none of the, requirements as far as math classes, English, right, and all that, and it was a very big difference from just being able to write, like a text message letter and then to actually write a paper for a class. Like that actually, a lot of people think, oh, well, it's school, anybody could do school. Well, not really. I mean, when you're going to, a university, it's a different way, it's more professional, I guess I would say. So when I even signing up for it, you still have that worry of, am I going to get in? Am I going to be able to keep up with the curriculum? So whenever I, go to school and see kids that are worried, or I can tell, that they're just, and that's one thing that I probably do to a lot of the students is when I see them just kind of being real quiet, I'll go over there, talk to them, and they'll just kind of look at me like, what am I supposed to say? And I'm like, I know it can be hard being away from your family, but, you're doing a lot better here than you are just sitting down on your couch. That's the main thing that I like to let people know is always go for an education. Always get that education, because once you have that education, you can do anything you want. Anything you want.
That's true. And also, you can always go back to your community and help out, like you were saying. So,
exactly.
Man, I could talk to you all day. But how can people contact you? Are you on social media?
Yeah, I'm not like a real big social media person as far as like all the other things that they have up there, but I do have my Facebooks. I have a personal one, but then I also have a fan page that is Shy LeBeau. That's the fan page. And then the personal one, which is the reason I had to make the fan page, is because I've maxed out on friends, so I can't accept any more friend requests or anything. But that's the one that's Shy LeBeau.
Okay, nice.
Because I've tried Twitter and I've tried Instagram, but I think when I did Twitter about 2 years ago, I got one tweet, so I was like, it probably isn't for me. I just don't know if I'm doing it right. People go, what's your Snapchat? I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking time to interview with me and to get your story out there to our audience. There's quite a few people that listen to the podcast, about 50,000.
Oh wow! Wow.
Yeah. So, but you know what? I appreciate what you're doing out there, and making a name and paving the way for you and for other natives out there to in the profession of boxing.
Yeah.
But congrats on your accomplishments, and I wish you continued success. Again, thank you for taking time out of your training. I know when I messaged you, you said that you had training this morning, so much appreciated. Anything else you'd like to share?
Just, thank you to you and everybody else, that just give me support and words of encouragement. I mean, that to me is a lot. That means a lot to me when people will just send me words of encouragement, whether it's something that I've done or how I've helped to make them feel better about themselves. That really does make me feel good, because then it lets me know, you're doing something right there, kid. You're not just out here, not doing anything with your life. You're actually doing something that's encouraging others too, without physically having to be there and tell them. Just being able for them to reach out to me is what really makes me feel good. So I can't even, words don't describe how grateful I am to everybody for everything. The people that helped me, with the GoFundMe. And I mean, even most recently, Mr. Ricky Nelson, he reached out to me to help me with a custom line for shirts and all kinds of stuff that I'll be getting a percentage of to help me pay to go, train for different tournaments, or, to go travel to different places, have food, lodging, and all that, to have even something like that. Like when he came to me, just popped up and was like, hey, I want to help you out. I'm not going to lie, I started crying, because I was just like, it's amazing to me to see how many, good people there are out there that just want to help. They don't want anything from you. They just want to help you. And to me, that really touched me, because I was like, wow, I'm on the right path then. If people are willing to help me out and not ask me for anything in return, it makes me blown away, and without people like him, great people in this world, the ones that helped me with my GoFundMe to help me get out to California in 26 last year when I went to go fight again, that really touched me a lot, because I was just blown away. I don't have that kind of money to travel like that, so that's why I don't get a lot of fights like I want to. So to be able to have the general public, just everybody, give me support and try and help me get to where I need to be. I mean, I just can't say thank you enough to everybody. Even you, just this podcast. I never would have thought I'd be doing this, especially for something that a lot of people, will either hear or tune into, it's a great feeling, and I can't say thank you enough to everybody.
Absolutely. Well, continue to fight. Like you said, continue education.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Make people proud. That's all I gotta say. So.
Oh yeah.
Hello, listeners. I hope you enjoyed this episode, listening to the challenges and the tribulations of the guests that I had today. Please follow me on 21st Century Native Leaders. Go to my page, give my page a like for future episodes. and also for quotes from books that I read, articles that I read, and the pictures are from Indian country, in particular the Navajo Nation. So I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully you come back and hear another future episode. Have a good day. Yeah.